Hello everyone! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Boom Shaka and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm so grateful that you're listening, subscribing, and commenting. I appreciate support. And if you're interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're in the description below. In this one, I wanted to speak to you guys about the quarantine that I'm kind of going through and what exactly it entails, because I thought it'd be kind of interesting to talk about it and then perhaps listen to you guys sharing your own stories of what your quarantine or lockdown or social distancing or whatever's going on in your country particularly looks like. So when I was in Thailand, which is when this video is probably 10 days before this video is going to be posted, probably 10 or 12 days before. So I was in Thailand a couple of weeks ago, and at that point in time, there was no lockdown, there was no quarantine, there was nothing major going on in Thailand. For some reason, they were still pretty lenient about it, pretty blasé about it, and so they didn't have anything going on. Everyone was doing their own thing. People were going to restaurants and having fun, going to entertainment districts. And then I think someone who had the coronavirus went to a boxing match, and that kind of really inflamed it because obviously he kind of infected a bunch of people who infected a bunch of other people, and it kind of escalated from there. And that's when they decided, okay, we're going to do a lockdown. Right now I think they're in a curfew period where from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. you can't have people outside on the street, which is quite interesting because I've never been in a country where that's been the case. Not that I go out at that time, anyways. But that was what's going on in Thailand. And so I went out all the time. Of course, it was also very smoky. I've told you guys this before. They burn, it's called burning season. They burn the crops to clear out the fields to grow mushrooms for the Chinese industry. And so for the Chinese consumers. So basically, the air is very smoky and it's not really a very nice time to go outside. So I spend my time at home working and reading. So it wasn't that much of a difference to me. It didn't really matter. I was in at home anyways, so blasé about it. Like I was like, all right, cool, I'm at home. I'd go out a couple of times a day to get food, and I'd get it packed in my lunchbox and I bring it back and I eat at home. But that was basically the gist of my travels outside my room. My room had an air purifier. I was at home. And then obviously, as I told you guys, I traveled to Canada. So I went through a couple of different airports: Bangkok, Tokyo, Chiang Mai, and Toronto. So 4 airports. Yeah, that's true. I went to 4 airports. Oh, that was a very long time of travel. I think I traveled for 3 days straight. Yeah, I traveled for 3 days straight. Ugh, it was terrible. Anyways, and so I got to Canada, and of course, because I traveled through all these international airports, I had to quarantine myself in my room for 14 days. So I am in that quarantine period right now. So I have to be in my room, if possible, as much as possible, to be in my room. And I have a bathroom connected to the room, so I don't have to actually go out, which is great. And there's water here as well. And my mom puts food outside my door in a tray. So, I put on a mask, wash my hands, and then grab the tray, eat my food, put the tray back out again after disinfecting it. And so basically, I've been trying to keep as little contact with my family as possible, not only because of the whole isolation thing, but also because my parents both have heart disease and have had heart attacks. And so I just want to be careful around them, obviously. I just want to make sure that because they're more of a vulnerable population, that I'm not infecting them by mistake or by chance. So in general, if I do touch anything, which I haven't because I haven't gone out that room, if I do go outside by chance, if my stuff goes out or my trays, obviously everything gets disinfected and everything gets washed with soap and water. So that's what's going on in Canada. And obviously right now in Canada, they're doing a bunch of social distancing. A lot of people are working from home. My sister is working from home. She's a lawyer, and her entire office and team is working from home. My mom's a real estate agent, and I think obviously she's working from home. She does work from home in general, but she's spending more time at home than normal. And my dad's retired, so it doesn't really matter for him. My brother, he works for a telecommunications company, and they're working from home as well, and his wife is as well, my sister-in-law. And so a lot of people that I know around, my cousins also all working from home. So in general, in Canada, a lot of companies are working from home or have made it so that you can work from home. And only essential businesses are actually open. So most of the places are not. Coffee shops like Tim Hortons are open. I think some perhaps restaurants for takeaway are open. Obviously, the alcohol stores and cannabis stores and things like that are open. Costco is open, grocery stores are open, things like that. But most other places are closed. And also, even if I'm just sitting here and I can look outside my window, I see that most of the streets are empty. And the highway, I can notice it from my window as well. And the highway is pretty much empty as well compared to normally how it would be. And there's some people walking around, but they are mostly, I think, practicing social distancing, which is great. So that's what's been going on here. It's been kind of interesting because I have noticed I've been to both sides of the world, the Asian side. I haven't been to Europe yet, and I'm guessing it's really, really bad there. I've been talking to a bunch of people who are there right now, and they're doing their best to not panic. But a girlfriend of mine's in Bansko in Bulgaria, and she was calling her friends, crying on the phone a couple of times a week, sometimes every single day, because there was military police everywhere, and she was not allowed to leave her apartment except to get groceries. And she was just there learning how to ski and doing her remote work, and in her Airbnb, and she was like, all right, I don't know if I can do this. And she was freaking out, obviously, being in a strange country, not being allowed to leave, all of that. But noticing both sides of the perspective, basically being in Asia and then being in North America, and seeing how, even though we are social distancing here and it's work from home, pretty much people are very casual about it. It seems more casual than they are in Asia. In Asia, everyone was wearing a mask. In Asia, they weren't social distancing necessarily, but everyone had a masks. And over here, people perhaps are social distancing, but they're not wearing masks. Again, of course, it's culture differences as well. Over there in Asia, everyone wears a mask typically as well, just because it's just the thing to do. It's also very sometimes hip and cool because a lot of Korean like soap opera stars, and Korean drama stars and pop stars, they all wear masks, so it's kind of like a cool thing to wear in general. It's a fashion statement. So it's kind of interesting as I see, as I sit here and kind of notice the differences between my life back there and here. It's kind of completely obviously different, but also it's so fascinating how different cultures are looking at this virus differently and dealing with it differently. I mean, looking at the US right now, considering that they have the highest number of cases of corona in the world, but they still haven't done any kind of lockdown or any kind of social distancing or work from home. It's kind of interesting how different countries do deal with these kind of things. Also, I'm actually fascinated to find that a lot of people actually are messaging me on the YouTube channel saying that this whole thing is a hoax and doesn't really make any sense and it doesn't really exist, and it's just it's like a scare tactic by the government to keep us in our houses and to control us. And obviously a lot of conspiracy theorists are going out there and saying that this is completely bogus. So it's kind of fascinating for me as a writer, as an observer of the world, as a people watcher, as an INFJ, as a person in general, to notice all of these different things going on at the same time. Of course, I started writing a book about not necessarily the coronavirus, but something related. And a lot of these points, of differences, cultural differences, and pandemics, and masks, and things like that are all kind of creeping into my book little by little. And I'm really enjoying watching everything happen. Not that I'm saying it's a good time to be alive. Of course, there's a lot of people suffering right now, but it is definitely, as an observer, as an outsider, an interesting time to observe the world and see what's going on in it. Again, I'd love to hear from you guys wherever you are in the world. I'm guessing a lot of the viewers here are American, but I'm not really sure. So I'd love to hear from you guys. What is going on in your city, in your country? What measures the government is taking in terms of the lockdown? Or are they doing a lockdown? Or are they doing social distancing? Are they doing a quarantine? Are they strict? Are they not strict? I'd love to get some perspective on that. because I hear things on the media and the news, but I really think that if it's a person who's actually there, they actually really know what's going on rather than the media, because the media hypes things up. They just kind of, I really sometimes don't trust them. Again, thank you so much for listening. Thank you for supporting me. I really appreciate it. And if you are interested in supporting me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon or Ko-fi link. They're linked in the description below. I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.